top 10 things Canadians want you to know. Really interested to see what's in this, see what Canadians want me to know. Before we do get into this, appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button. Let's see what we got.
For this list, we're looking to clarify Canadian stereotypes, correct misconceptions, or generally gush about things that we think you should know about this North American country.
Right.
I'm Canadian.
Oh, he is.
Number 10, it's not winter all the time.
Okay, I did believe
when
this.
many people think of Canada, they picture
Oh, look
blizzards
at
and polar
those.
bears. And don't forget the stereotype that all Canadians live in igloos.
My good friend Nantuk and I would build an igloo to protect ourselves.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that people in Canada don't live in igloos then.
Polar bears and flying hockey pucks.
While it's true that Canadian winters can be intense and long,
Okay.
Canada does warm up during the summer months. Igloos would be pretty useless.
There are many ways to describe the summer of 2012.
Well, yeah, like I found out that like Canada can get really cold, but then it can get also hot as well. So then they'll just melt.
Hot, dry, extreme. But if you're feeling the burn, consider it a unifying Canadian experience.
Like in many other countries,
Okay.
Canadian seasons are varied and unique.
Right.
Visit in the summer or fall, and you'll be surprised at just how warm it can get, especially in the southern part of the country.
Wait, is this is Canada? Look at this, man. That's beautiful.
Especially in the southern part of the
That's
country.
gorgeous.
Though one thing is certainly true. Visiting Montreal in the winter can get a little slippery.
Hey,
Number 9.
what's going on here?
Toronto is not the capital of the country.
Okay, I did think
While
this
there
as
is a
well.
joke that they like to consider themselves the center of the universe.
Right.
Contrary to popular belief, Toronto is not the capital of Canada.
So, you guys doing anything fun while you're in town?
Fun. In Toronto.
It is, however, the
I don't get
largest
it.
city in Canada by population and the 4th largest in North America.
Jesus, what's going on there? How many companies? Are these all the companies that's in it? Oh, it's just like a shopping center then.
4th largest in North America, just above Chicago. The
Okay.
title of Canadian capital goes to the much smaller and quieter Ottawa,
How did we end up with Ottawa?
So it is the capital of Canada.
a lovely city dedicated mainly to being the center of government.
Yeah, I love how like, oh my God, you guys in Canada have these too? The King Guard? Yo, I didn't know that.
Much like Washington, D.C., Ottawa often gets mocked for being boring.
Suburban Ottawa's great.
Interesting.
Like everything Brooklyn does. Really? Yes. Other than my job and my friends and my family, you, interesting people, museums, restaurants.
Well,
Okay.
not as exciting as Toronto, perhaps.
See, I find it interesting how the capital is so quiet compared to like Toronto and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like you got Toronto, you got the big skyscrapers. Like it actually looks like a city, like a capital. But then again, that's because I live in the UK and London's the biggest city. Like normally you just think that like the capital is the biggest city, but then like in America it's Washington, and that's not really the biggest. Like New York is. Yeah, I suppose so.
Ottawa's charms are still not to be missed.
Ottawa, the Paris of Central Canada.
Number 8, a Canadian invented basketball.
Really?
Believe it or not, it was the Canadian James Naismith, a McGill University graduate, who
Oh.
invented this popular sport back in 1891.
Interesting.
Naismith was a phys ed teacher at the YMCA International Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts. He struggled with a class of students who were disobedient and short-tempered due to being stuck inside all day thanks to a harsh winter. He resolved to create an indoor game to keep the students distracted
Okay.
and that would help them stay in shape. The end result was basketball.
100 years after.
Hey, I can't lie, basketball is very fun to play. Like, basketball isn't crazy popular in the UK, but I've got a basketball outside. I always wear, well, look right now, bro. Look. I always wear basketball shorts, so like, yeah. I don't know, like, basketball it's fun, man. It's fun, it's cool, and a Canadian invented it, so, hey, fair play.
After James Naismith from Almont, Ontario invented it, basketball was being played by hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Number 7.
I actually wish that basketball was a lot bigger in the UK. Football, soccer. Wait, what do you call it in Canada? You call it soccer? But like football, soccer in the UK is the most popular sport. And then, yeah, basketball just isn't really like watched. We don't really have any like big basketball teams. And if we do, I haven't heard of them. So, yeah.
But Canadian bacon is just ham.
Bacon. Canadian bacon.
Yep, that's right.
Oh,
the term
okay.
Canadian bacon is actually one made up by Americans. In Canada, it's known as back bacon, which is a far more accurate term, but really it's just ham. Just look at
Interesting.
it. Does that really look like bacon? No.
Nah.
In Canada,
Well, this kind of looks like bacon right here, but these just look like ham.
agrees.
If ham's Canadian bacon, then what the hell do you call bacon?
Canadians take their bacon seriously, and as such, the fact that Canada's come to be associated with this term borders on being offensive to the Canadian culinary world. In all
Oh,
seriousness, real Canadian bacon is excellent if you live south of the border. So
Okay.
if you want a real taste of Canadian bacon, you'll just have to make the trip. We highly recommend the maple glazed variety.
of course it's maple glazed variety. It's Canada, man. That sounds good though. I can't lie. Is it good?
Oh, you gave me Canadian bacon instead of bacon? This misdeed cannot go unpunished.
Number 6, Tim Hortons isn't our only national coffee chain.
Really?
Sure, when you're in the mood for a quick
You know
double-double
what? Watching these Canadian videos though, I've heard a lot about Tim Hortons.
or a box of Timbits, Timmy's is a great place to stop.
Thanks for the free donuts.
Just donuts, okay? They're like 2 for a loony.
But it's not Canada's only coffee chain, or
Oh,
even
a
its
loony's a
best.
pound.
Second Cup is
I learned
another of
that.
Canada's national coffee chains, and some would argue it's much better, albeit typically more expensive.
Okay.
Cup of coffee?
Third. Why?
You could also try Montreal-based Van Hoot, which has cafes across the province of Quebec. While competitive pricing, amazing marketing campaigns, and its place in pop culture has made Tim Hortons the reigning champ.
I can't lie. That's a pretty cool cup. What is even on it? 100 Bayonne, 5,000 Garmin. Tim Hortons cup. Okay.
You still got options. Plus,
Interesting.
you even have Starbucks.
I see our cups in the UK for coffee just plain. Like it's just a brown. That's it. It's just brown, plain, white lid or something. Basic.
Oh, this coffee is excellent.
Number 5, we have 2 official
French and
languages.
English.
My friend in Canada who got married way too young.
A lot of people in the UK don't actually know that French is a official language in Canada. Like when I tell people in the UK that they're genuinely blown away, like they don't believe it.
They had to do their vows twice, once in French.
They speak French there too? God, that place is a mess.
The history of Canada is shaped by both the English and the French, with
Right.
the two both laying claim to parts of the land until the 7 Years' War, at the end of which France ceded its colony to the English. Thanks to the policies of official bilingualism enacted in the 20th century, both languages are protected and represented today.
If it's Canada,
Okay.
just say the word. And then say it again in French.
These policies ensure that citizens can be served by the federal government in both languages, and politicians seeking to lead the country typically learn both French and English.
Leadership is about bringing people.
Wait, yeah, when they do their speeches like this, do they then say it again in French? Like what happens there?
People of all different perspectives together. Je veux aussi rendre hommage
Oh, they do.
à Thomas Mulcair.
While most of the
Oh wait, so like he will say it in English and then he will say it again in French?
Francophone population lives in Quebec, there are many French-speaking communities across Canada, including a large one in New Brunswick.
Interesting.
Fine. That leaves the rest of Canada under my jurisdiction, with the possible exception of some areas of New Brunswick.
Number 4, Canada is pretty progressive. Compared to our neighbors, it often seems like Canada is lauded for being a progressive paradise.
Okay.
When I think about Canada, I actually think of progressive.
While it has its own share of social
Interesting.
problems and debates, it is true that most of the fights on social issues that take such precedence in the American media have been solved in Canada. This is due in large part to stark differences between Canadian and American culture.
Oh yeah, I have been learning about the gun laws in Canada because I've been watching a lot about America, and you guys was actually coming into my stream and telling me about it, and you was like, okay, yeah, so you need like a license, but they're quite easy to get.
Access to abortion is almost a non-issue. Gay marriage has been legal since 2005, and even the Conservative Party doesn't oppose it.
You know, the strongest evidence for genuinely demonstrating a domestic partnership is to take a quick drive on up to Canada and legitimize your relationship.
Legitimize?
Get married.
There are still many problems in Canada, and it's by no means a progressive utopia. But the country should be proud of all the progress it's already made.
Right.
We should move to Canada.
Number 3. Not all police officers are Mounties.
Okay, yeah,
Those
I've been
officers
seeing
dressed
a
in
lot
red
of
suits
these.
and great big hats are members of the RCMP, or the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Your cops are called Mounties.
While Canada does indeed use Mounties on the federal level, cities and municipalities use regular police officers,
Right.
as they do in most countries. Mounties.
Yeah, I don't think the Mounties are gonna be chasing people like in a car chase, but they're on horseback. I don't like, as cool as that would look. I don't think that's gonna be happening.
Enforce federal laws and will work closely with the provinces and municipalities in order to accomplish their goals.
Okay.
And their tasks include dealing with organized crime, drug trafficking, and border control, among many other federal offenses. So, yes, Canada does have Mounties, but no, they don't go around solving crimes on horseback.
Right.
And the country does rely heavily on municipal police forces as well.
Okay, sure.
Also,
that makes
Mounties
sense.
don't always dress like that either.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, bless me, allergies.
Number 2, healthcare isn't free. It's paid for by taxes.
Oh, wait, yeah, so like, that's the same as the UK though. So technically, like, well, everything's kind of paid by taxes, but yeah.
Dad, no, it says don't
You don't have to pay extra
Doesn't
for it.
matter. They have free healthcare. I'm rich.
Often when talking about the great things in Canada, free healthcare is brought up, but that term is a bit of a mischaracterization. Healthcare in Canada isn't somehow free.
Right.
That make no sense. It's just paid for by taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Because access to universal health.
Well, that's the same as the UK, and I like, we still see it as like kind of free, because like either way you pay your taxes, right? It stays the same amount, and they just choose to use it that way. So
Care services is considered a right in Canada.
Canada. What, is everyone going to have access to universal health care so no one has to choose between going bankrupt and treating a life-threatening illness?
While some arguments persist about the best way to design and maintain a program of universal healthcare, and there are still complaints that Canada's system lags behind those in European countries,
Okay.
a large majority of Canadians agree that it's been incredibly beneficial.
Well, that's
and
good.
That healthcare is a great use of tax money.
Here's the healthcare.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here
Honorable
are some
mentions.
honorable mentions.
Real maple syrup. I hate that Faco kind.
Wait, what's that? Pancake syrup isn't the real maple syrup? Huh? I don't even know what pancake syrup is.
I hate that Faco kind.
What's the bad about being Canadian?
Your milk comes
Our milk comes in bags and okay.
bags.
So yeah, apparently ketchup is so hot in Canada that they just threw the artificial flavoring all over the chips here.
Number 1, not everyone has that stereotypical accent.
There's not going to be any fight without Scott Riles and the incredibly
You know what? I don't really know. Is this what the stereotypical Canadian accent is?
polite Canadian news team.
Sorry about that, eh? While the accent does exist,
I can't really like think of a Canadian accent off the top of my head. I know of Canadian accents, but I don't know like a stereotype one. Interesting.
it's more common in rural areas. And even then, people in the Maritimes and Newfoundland have their own distinct accent.
They sometimes have a funny way of saying things like a boot,
And the way they say about.
which sounds like, what's that? A boot?
The majority of Canadians you meet, who will likely be from the big cities, don't talk with that accent.
Right.
In fact, they sound very similar to Americans from big cities.
You got a weird thing for Canadian melodrama.
Got a weird thing for girls who say a boot.
We will concede that Canadians do say
Like, to be fair, being from the UK, like Canadian and American accents, I can't really tell much of the difference. Like those two just spoke there. Other than using the word a boot, I can't really tell much of a difference.
the word a lot. But it's often misused by those mocking Canada.
I moved here from Canada and they think I'm slow, eh?
A is another way of saying right or, you know, at the end of a
Right.
sentence. Not a random word we just interject in the middle of conversations. Bet you learned something new today, eh?
Come on, what do we look like?
I did.
Rookies? Sorry.
Do you agree with our picks?
Very interesting, though. Canadian things that they want you to know. Let me know in the comments if you guys can think of any other Canadian things that you think I should know as well that you don't think I will know. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, like every single day on Twitch.tv/L3WG. If you guys want to check me out over there, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.